laying out more economic plans after being panned for a plan to crack down on price gouging. Take a look here.
My vision of an opportunity economy is one where everyone can compete and have a real chance to succeed. So I want to see 25 million new small business applications by the end of my first term. Part of my plan is we will expand the tax deduction for startups to $50,000. Cut the red tape that can make starting and growing a small business more difficult than it needs to be. Let us be clear. Billionaires and big corporations must pay their fair share in taxes.
Harris trying to convince voters that she's got a better game plan than Trump when it comes to the economy. And some folks in the media are more than happy to try to hype up her record.
Donald Trump doesn't come close to the record of the Biden-Harris administration. So if you're a capitalist, if you believe in free markets, if you believe in a strong stock market, a strong job market, a strong economy, really the answer is pretty simple. You don't want Donald Trump back in the White House.
If you're a capitalist, Greg, you should want Kamala Harris.
This is the guy who was just a month or so ago said Joe Biden was the best he's ever seen. Yep. Nothing that comes out of his mouth can be trusted. He has been wrong on every single thing. I think he might have a problem. You know what's interesting is everybody's talking about Kamala flipping and flopping and flipping. The whole tax deduction thing sounds pretty good. Of course, if you're going to raise taxes while you do that, you're just backfilling what you already stole. And that money then gets laundered through the government under the illusion that they give it back to you when they actually took it from you to begin with. How many people are going to start up businesses because they can't, because you've already overtaxed them? I'm glad when people change their minds, though. But you got to show the work. Like, why did you change your mind? I changed my mind a lot. Turns out I was an emotional wreck over Donald Trump in 2015. I asked myself why. I was going like, well, you know what? I was consumed by words and not deeds. And I thought about, okay, if I change my filter, look at the deeds, and then I realized, okay, my mind got changed. But I showed you the work. But Kamala never shows you the reason why she changes her mind, other than laugh. And you assume it's because it's an election. For example, when she flipped on Joe, when she said Joe was a racist in the debate, and then all of a sudden he wasn't a racist, they asked her why. She says, it was a debate. And she laughed. That was her answer. So the assumption here, these flip-flops are not sincere. She's going to flip this way, then she's going to flip back, and then you're going to be stuck with the same old socialist, Marxist, blah, 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 blah. By the way, I just have to point out, Trump was on Lex Friedman yesterday. It was his 35th interview, including the Vance interviews, while she did one in the same time frame. You have to compare that. Trump has nothing to hide. He'll talk to anybody, everybody. I bet you don't even know who Lex Friedman is. He's an engineer, very smart guy. But he's going to tell you everything. He's going to answer every question. Meanwhile, you have this other person that's hidden. What does that tell you? I mean, imagine if they were real estate agents, Jesse. Trump would be the guy who would show you every nook and cranny of the house, from the crawl space to the attic, and he wouldn't shut up about it. It would go on for hours. You want to see it again? He'd tell you to come over again. Meanwhile, Harris would be the one that would have one single picture on a website. Yeah. And then you call and she goes, no, you're going to have to come and see it. You're going to just have to come and see it. And you show up and it's a dumpster with a mattress and a tarp over it. They don't want to do the work to show you what she would do as president, because it doesn't exist.
There are so many examples of it, like the EV vehicle mandate. She was pressed on that. Her team pressed on that by Axios, and they wouldn't answer if she would veto the bill that she advocated for in 2019, so you don't really know. The other thing is, Kennedy, she said in her first economic speech that she wanted to cut red tape and bureaucracy. But so if you could give a $50,000 tax deduction for a small business eventually over time, but the regulations and the other things have cost it, it's not like people feel that they're getting ahead.
No, that's like a smoker wanting to get rid of cigarettes. She's addicted to red tape. She's addicted to bureaucracy because, to Greg's point, she is a big government Democrat. And when she says my values haven't changed. You should believe her because her values were made plain in 2019 and 2020 when she was running for president. She's in a very unique situation because she has to steal ideas from other people because she's not only running against herself and some of these very, very damning statements that I don't think she can answer for, especially not in a debate. And if these moderators are honest and really press into some of her statements, I think that she will crumble like she did against Tulsi Gabbard on the 2020 debate stage. But she's not only running against her own statements, she's running against her own record. And I don't know how she does a double divorce, because wouldn't that make her a polygamist if she was married to the socialist ideas in 2019 and married to the Biden-Harris agenda, talking about how great Bidenomics is? She's going to have to throw him under the bus and divorce herself from that bad track record as well. And I don't think she can do it. And if you asked her, you ask her the why, she can't answer that. You ask her the what. She doesn't know that either, even though she's cribbing someone else's economic policies. If you ask her who she is, I think that might be the toughest question of all.
Do you think, Judge, that part of the idea for her on this ramp up to the debate is to get out there, talk about the economy a little bit so that she doesn't have to explain it more? She can just say, I've already talked about that.
Well, she can certainly say that, but I doubt that Donald Trump's going to let her get away with that at the debate. And I know we're going to talk about the debate in the next couple of blocks. But what I think is interesting is if she wants to increase the tax deductions tenfold from $5,000 to $50,000, which is going to cost us $20 billion in the next decade. You have to say to yourself, well, once the government starts getting involved in your business, is DEI apply? How about the EPA? Do we have to be more environmentally friendly? And think about California. They raised the price of the minimum wage that then caused the businesses to go out of business because they couldn't afford to pay staff. I mean, so a lot of these ideas sound great, but even the idea, she said, we brought back jobs. And then we found out, no, there were 818,000 jobs that were lied about that you didn't bring back. And, she also talked about the fact that in addition to the record job growth, she said so many people are getting new jobs. It's all the illegals getting the new jobs. So once you peel back the layer of the onion and you realize that, she isn't as in-depth, as sophisticated as we think. And then there's one more thing. Consumer prices have gone up 21% since Biden and Harris have been in office. Why isn't she talking about that? Why hasn't she been doing anything about it? And then this whole idea about, she wants to cut red tape. Why don't you stop the regulatory onslaught? Why don't you take care of energy bills that are making all of us, making it incredibly hard to live for all families? And finally, something like 66% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Nobody has $30,000 or $40,000 to start a new business in these 25 million new businesses that she's dreaming about. And, because the average cost is what, $30,000, $40,000. So, she's talking the talk. She doesn't know how to walk the walk.
To start a business, you really want certainty, right? And one of the things would be in the tax code, the Trump tax cuts that are due for extension, and she wants to get rid of them. So that's actually raising taxes on people. She'll say it's just for the rich, but it really wasn't.
She's never even started a business. She just worked at McDonald's.
Did she?
That's right. She never worked at McDonald's. There's no evidence. I'm just excited, Dana, for the debate tonight. It's going to be exciting to see these two go at it. Oh, that's right. Kamala chickened out. The Fox News debate was supposed to be tonight, but we're going to get the Hannity town hall instead. Greg makes the point about buying a house. She is asking us to buy a house sight unseen. Would you buy a house sight unseen? No. You got to look around. You got to check it out. She's asking us, just trust her. We can't. This position she's taking on regulation and tax cuts, she didn't create that. She doesn't even know what this stuff means. Do you think if you could ask Kamala Harris to explain what a small business startup tax deduction means, she could explain it? No. Kamala, what exactly are the regulations that you're going to be cutting for small business? She can't answer. Dana, she's the one that put the regulations on. With COVID, I mean, if you install like a electric charging station, you have to hire a Pacific Islander under the Kamala Harris, Joe Biden plan. All this stuff. Why didn't she do tax cuts for small businesses the last 4 years? Huh? She's been in power. Why doesn't she cut taxes on tips now? She's in power now. Why doesn't she do it? So if she goes over there and the debate happens and Trump says, okay, fine, agree with me, great. You're basically running on, I was right about everything. That's what her campaign is. Trump was right, I was wrong. I would love to compare the record. You're right. All these jobs that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden say they've created, 10 million were bounce-back jobs from the pandemic.
Right.
And the rest of them, Trump created more if you put it squared off. Labor participation rate bigger under Trump, incomes bigger under Trump. I'd love to have that debate. And he should just straight up ask her. Don't let the debate moderator ask her anything. Look her in the eye, say, Kamala, why'd you lie about inflation? Why'd it go up so high? Just hit her right between the eyes. She'll never been able to do it. Keep her on the defensive. Right now, she's been on defense since the convention ended. Yeah. And Nate Silver now, Trump's the odds-on favorite to win. Every day, the probability of Trump winning gets greater and greater.
Okay, he did not say red wave, but he was getting close to it. All right.
Onslaught. Onslaught. Sight on scene. Sight on scene. Squared off. Squared off. Throw under the bus. Throw under the bus. Tenfold. Tenfold. Hype up. Hype up. Filter. Filter. Crack down. Crack down. Pan. Pan. Backfilling. Backfilling. Ramp up. Ramp up.
If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date with future videos. Thank you for watching.